The envelope stood before me, akin to a verdict. Silence hung heavy, my wife avoided eye contact. It was then I realized the evening's objective had been achieved. In 5 minutes, her father would implore me not to take calls. However, I digress. I once thought love was tranquil, constructed upon shared rituals, morning brews, economical dinners, no urge to boast. She admired my earthiness, my indifference towards wealth. She said it made me secure. We crossed paths before her surname held significance for me, or perhaps I feigned ignorance. For a decade, I wore the same timepiece, drove a car with unrepaired dents. I allowed people to underestimate me because it maintained authenticity, particularly from her. Her kin initially tolerated me, smiles lacking warmth, queries disguised as solicitude. "What's next for you?" essentially meant, "Why are you here?" I responded courteously, always courteously. I had no need to justify myself until she stopped defending my presence. The situation unfolded with distancing, late responses, a cautiousness in her speech as if speaking for someone else. She gradually spoke more about her father's corporation, discussing legacy, ambition, and alignment. Unbeknownst to her, I sat across from her each quarter. The evidence subtly emerged. A calendar invite she overlooked concealing, a dinner I wasn't included in, her phone illuminating with a familiar name. Not a romantic partner, but a lawyer, her father's attorney. This cut deeper than an affair would have. I chose not to challenge her. I opted against posing questions. I observed. I listened. I allowed them to believe they were one step ahead. It was then the planning commenced. I revisited contracts untouched for years, verified the trust, confirmed my voting rights, made a solitary call to my lawyer and said a brief sentence, "Hold off for now." Then I waited. The invitation to dinner arrived like an olive branch. Her parents' opulent home, formal dining, excessive wine. I accepted promptly. Desiring to witness their expressions as they believed themselves compassionate, we sat beneath a chandelier valued more than my vehicle. Her mother discussed charity while her father spoke on responsibility. My spouse gently squeezed my hand, a subtle hint. Partway through dessert, her father slid the envelope towards us across the table. "We believe this is beneficial for all parties," he stated. Inside was an offer, money generous by their standards, a settlement for our marriage, a polite annulment. My spouse then looked at me, relief veiled behind sadness. They thought they were purchasing silence. I glanced at my watch and inquired, "May I?" Upon rising, no one attempted to halt me. I moved onto the terrace and made the phone call I had planned months prior, not to my attorney but to the board secretary who still perceived me as a specter. "Proceed," I said. Upon my return, the room transformed. Phones buzzed and her father's complexion paled. He read something, then reread it more slowly. "What transpired?" my spouse whispered. I settled down, pushed the unopened envelope aside. 5 minutes ago," I stated calmly, "you lost majority stake." Her father rose, his voice faltering. "That's impossible." I leaned towards him, close enough for him to detect the inexpensive cologne I'd deliberately worn. "You taught me something tonight," I said, "that power reveals itself when it feels secure." The facts tumbled out swiftly after that. Emergency votes, shareholder notices, a public filing scheduled for tomorrow morning. My name appearing where his once was. Years of silent ownership finally made audible. My wife began to weep, tears that were genuine, too late. "I never wanted this," she said. I believed her. That made it worse. "I know," I replied. "You wanted comfort. You wanted validation. You wanted to discard me." Her father attempted negotiations. Her mother prayed fervently. I stood up, straightened my jacket, and felt nothing but liberation. "I lived modestly," I said, "because I was already affluent. You lived boisterously as fear governed you." I departed, leaving behind items that longer responded. The divorce was swift, uncontested. She didn't resist. She couldn't. The business thrived under management that distinguished between cruelty and power. I continue to drive the same vehicle. Yet when I confront someone who views me as insignificant, I allow them to speak. I allow them to present their arguments. And when the time arrives, I remind them quietness isn't frailty. It's ammunition.